Hey guys, welcome back to Admiral Reviews. So first, let me tell you why fairy tale I'm considering controversial. I'm considering controversial because there's a large group of people that are really into fairy tale. They love fairy tale, they love everything about it, but there's also an even larger group that hates fairy tale. And when I mean not just dislike it, they hate fairy tale. They hate how the story progresses. They hate all the issues that keep reoccurring and the mangaka doesn't change about this series. But I'm going to talk about those issues a little bit later. So let's basically just first talk about the basic background story. Fairy Tale is about a guild named Fairy Tale and all the mages within the guild. Of course, there's the main protagonist, which usually is Natsu and Lucy, but also they have, secondary protagonists like Gray and Urza. But going all the way down, there's about at least maybe a little over 20 members of the Fairy Tale Guild. I don't know the exact number, but somewhere around there. And it goes around their adventures of facing other guilds and other mages. Now, what makes each of the members of Fairy Tale individual is that the powers that they wield. Everybody in the guild has their own special type of magic that they use. Like Natsu uses Dragon Slayer fire magic. Urza uses, she changes her armor, which grants her physical abilities extra boosts. So one of the issues that people have with Fairy Tale is that when the antagonist arises, their usually power level is set way above any member that's in Fairy Tale. And as the arc progresses, at the end when the final battle comes, one of the Fairy Tale members will get a power up where you don't know where it came from. You don't know how they got this power up, but they somehow managed to get it, and that's how they defeat the villain in the villain in the arc. And a lot of series do this. It's not something that's odd, but Fairy Tale is just known for they keep repeating the same issue over and over for every villain, and now people are trying to say that Fairy Tale is becoming, predictable. You know what's going to happen. You know that there's not going to be any struggle. They're going to struggle at first, but then they're going to defeat the main villain in the end. And that's one of the main issues. And when we're talking about predictability, this doesn't even just go into fighting scenes. People trying to say the whole series is becoming predictable. That the outline of Fairy Tale is the same thing over and over and over for each arc. Like, a big problem people have and with the predictability is that when a character dies in Fairy Tale, people feel and they already know that the character will not stay dead for long. And that's a big one, because in a series, in order for sometimes the story to progress, there has to be a loss in the series that helps move the story forward or helps the character get to a new level that they wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Like in Naruto, there was Jiraiya. In One Piece, there was Ace. But in Fairy Tale, when you keep bringing back the characters that die, then that enables the character to progress in the story. And also the story needs a little drama. They need a little tragedy in order to move on, in order to become, in order for the viewer to indulge themselves in it. And when you give the viewer a loss, they start to feel, but once you bring them back, it's like that was all for nothing. And then on top of the predictability that you keep doing it every single chapter and every single episode, or every single episode against the villain, then you're giving the viewer that I know what's going to happen. There's no point in me enjoying this because I know he's going to just come back the next episode. Now, another issue with Fairy Tale, which is kind of more of just an issue with me than probably other people, is that there is too much fan service. Like, people are gonna say, "Oh, you're a guy, so why should you hate fan service?" But it's not that I hate fan service. It's just I think there's too much of it in this series. Other series you may see some cleavage from here to there or a skimpy outfit from here to there, but in Fairy Tale it's kind of just shoved down your throat. There's titties everywhere. There's if a woman gets attacked, her clothes are automatically getting ripped off. And it's not even to the point where it's just ripped. It'll be ripped to the point where she's really just naked and she just has a piece of cloth covering her nipples. Fairy Tale really takes fan service to a whole new level. And sometimes it's okay, sometimes, okay, yeah, whoa, okay, I kind of like that. And then sometimes just there's really no need for this I'd rather them pay more attention to the story and the fight scenes than, you know, just continuously when Urza fights, you know, all her clothes are coming off at the end of the battle. So, as a disclaimer, this is not a video to bash on Fairy Tail. With me, I was a big fan of Fairy Tail in the beginning, but around the time we got to the Eudolis arc, I kind of started to phase out of Fairy Tail because it just felt like it was the same thing over and over again. I kind of was just seeing the same arc over and over again with different characters. But this is not to bash on Fairy Tail. There's a huge community that really loves Fairy Tail. Even from time to time, I come back to Fairy Tail because I'm a little bit addictive. I'm addicted to it, so I need to see what's still going on, but I'm not the biggest fan anymore. But there's a huge community of people that love Fairy Tail. And don't get me wrong, Hiro Mashima, the creator of Fairy Tail, he does a great job at certain things. Like character designs, the fact that there's so many characters in Fairy Tail and they all have each unique design is nice. You know, Gildarts is one of my favorite character designs. He just looks cool. He looks like the badass father that's willing just to beat anybody that comes in and nobody can touch Gildarts. That's really cool. And one of the most amazing parts about Fairy Tail, like any other shonen series, is the fight scenes. Just how the fight scenes visually look is amazing. How the fight scenes are choreographed, it's beautiful. And just seeing the different magic abilities that the different characters have and how they balance against other magic abilities is pretty interesting. And I do have to give credit to Hiro Mashima for putting all those different abilities into this world and building a different hierarchy of how the abilities match with each other. So thumbs up to you, Hiro Mashima. So guys, let me know how you feel about the series down below. Are you one of those people that are a big fan of Fairy Tail and really enjoy everything about Fairy Tail? Are you one of those people that sees the issues in Fairy Tail and just can't seem to get into it? Or are you like me, who's in the middle, who enjoys Fairy Tail and will come back to it from here and there, but are not one of those big fans? So let me know. And guys, thank you and have a nice ass day.